So for everybody that's watching, and they probably saw from the thumbnail as well, you have a blurred face, and we're going to use a fake name. So we're going to go with Dan, right? So your name for this interview is Dan. For right at the beginning, because we kind of spoke about this off camera, why do you want to stay anonymous? Because I think a lot of people will be like, what the hell? This guy's making all this cash. Why doesn't he want to share it?
Yeah, of course. I think the OnlyFans industry is pretty interesting. I look at it from more of a professional, through more of a professional lens, but certainly there's political reasons why other industries might look down on it. So that being said, I am involved in some other industries and want to just keep this work anonymous.
Perfect. That makes absolute sense. I mean, you actually, by
Mhm.
the way, yeah, I was going to say your own name, so I'm going to say Dan. By the way, Dan, I don't know if you remember, there was another student who we done an interview with. There's only been one more who we blurred their face.
Mhm.
So yeah, you're not the first, and I completely understand. He had exactly the same thing to say. He was quite high up in other industries as well, or just one particular industry. And yeah,
Mhm.
it's a controversial industry for sure. And that's why I like doing these videos, because people are going to be watching this, most likely either a beginner or somebody who's maybe just getting started, you know? And I need you guys to understand this. It's not all this is a serious thing. You've got to think about, do you really want to get into this industry, right? And for some people, they'll be like, wait, I thought that you were the biggest ambassador for OnlyFans management, and Don't get me wrong, I think it's one of the best business models, but you got to think like Dan, and you got to really be serious about, look, everything stays online forever, right? So do I want to be associated with this? And depending on what I want to get into the future, basically what you're doing is absolutely not. So yeah, absolutely great. So all of that being said, though, your story is incredible. So for context for everybody watching, you're going to be learning at the same time as I am about Dan's story. All that I do know is that this guy is amazing at what he does, and I see his results all the time in the community. And this is the first time we've properly spoken on call as well. So this is super exciting. So let's just jump straight into it, bro. So Dan, how did you get started with the industry? How did you kind of first start hearing about it, and what made you want to actually try it and give it a go?
Yeah, sure. So I came across some of your videos kind of while driving and listening and trying to learn as much as possible. And I think it was one of those things where YouTube just automatically chose the next video, and I started hearing your voice talking about this industry. I think it was one of the videos where it was, from zero to, a certain number, grow, your OnlyFans agency step by step. So I listened to that video and I was instantly hooked. This was probably in the spring of 23. And then a couple months later, after binging a lot of the videos, I reached out to you in June or July on Instagram just to learn more, and spoke to you a little bit, went back and forth. We booked a call. I spoke to one of the guys at Aura, and I'm one of those people. I've been in a lot of different business industries, and I understand how important speed is, making the commitment, investing. So I decided to get on a call. I like what I heard, and I jumped right in.
Okay, fantastic. And what's interesting is you come from already a business background, right? Now I know you obviously want to keep it anonymous, so I don't expect you to say exactly what, but just how long? So when
Mhm.
was the kind of first experience that exposed you, and how many years ago was it where you started kind of building your own business?
Yeah, sure. I won't say my age, but I've had my longest business was 10 years. So I've been
Well,
in business for quite a while. I've done everything from retail, manufacturing, marketing.
sure.
My biggest business had locations and had a product that was distributed in several countries in Asia, seven
Yeah.
countries in Europe, all across the US. So,
So Dan, the reason why I asked that, by the way, again, I'm finding out all of this at the same time as all the viewers, right? The reason why I asked that is because everybody comes from a different perspective, right? A different mindset when they first start anything, any business, etc. So for most people that are in Aura, I would say the average is somebody who's just starting out. They maybe have tried a bit of drop shipping or e-commerce or SMA here and there, but they didn't really give it a shot. And this is the first thing that they really are investing into. And they're taking that leap of faith and just keep going all in, right? And it seems to work. It seems to, this is that one business model that finally just works for a lot of people. Now, so being said, the average person, they're completely brand new, right? So their mindset is completely different. They are thinking, do I really need this? Should I just do it by myself? I could probably learn this,
yeah.
right? And this is why I was asking about your experience in the past, because you already came at this with all this vast knowledge of experience of, okay, how you fail, you learn a lesson, you fail, you learn a lesson, you slowly but gradually get better at business in that way. And you're obviously at the stage now where you might have the capital and you're like, okay, I don't have a lot of time, I have a bit of cash, why don't I just trade that? I give this guy some money, he's going to teach me exactly what to do, what not to do. That's going to save me more time. seems like it makes sense, right? And it's interesting because a lot of people don't think like that, and it's completely fine, because when you're brand new, I don't expect people to think like that. So that's an interesting way to kind of look at how you started. So okay, so you started seeing some videos. You heard about the whole idea of the business model. It started making sense, right? Pretty simple stuff. You manage your influencer, a model, you make some cash, you go 50-50. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Okay, cool. And then you jumped in a call with our team and you took, quote unquote, the risk. You invested and you joined Aura. Again, for everybody watching, this is genuinely, I'm the first time I'm me hearing this as well. What was your kind of first week, your first month, both from your mindset point of view, like were you dead excited or you kind of just easing into it? And what is your first kind of month experience like in general, both our coaching and like the business model itself?
Yeah, sure. It was really interesting. And I wanted to time out the purchase of the course and get in the community and start interacting with other people who had been there step one and now down the road. I wanted to absorb all the course material. But basically, right after I bought the course, I was in China for a month on business, all social media, most of it blocked, and couldn't really get to work on the agency. So I just locked in and absorbed as much as possible. So yeah, just like you were saying, I just want to speak to like how important it is to, you can spend a year trying to, through trial and error, learn all the knowledge that's in the course. That course saves you so much money, so much time. And, yeah, I've been in business a long time, but if you're just a 18-year-old kid and you're mowing lawns on the weekend, you can afford to, take this head start and kind of get involved in accelerating your business. It's worth it in the long run. It's paid off tenfold, 20-fold. I mean, even when it comes down to, and I'm sure we'll touch on this, but getting models, there's obviously, you can do organic outreach, but when people ask me for my advice, accelerate as much as possible within your budget. And the course was definitely a way to do that. So yeah, absorbed all of it on my trip, came back and basically hit the ground running.
I love that. It's really interesting because I had a similar story about my first ever business, which was SMA, like a marketing agency. Not quite a month, but I had like 2-3 weeks. So I first learned about SMA during Christmas. I can't remember the year, maybe like 2017 this was, maybe a little bit before that. And of course, it's Christmas, everyone's at home, no one's doing anything, and I'm just sitting there, I'm just watching video after video, so hooked on the idea of SMA. And back then it was pretty simple, it's pretty easy. Now it's so saturated. But yeah, kind of a similar thing, right? So I spent like 2-3 weeks, exactly like you, just absorbing every video. I had like a notepad full of notes from just YouTube videos when I first started. Yeah, and then you got back from China, and that's also crazy. In China, yeah, you can't access Instagram and none of this stuff, right? Just quite
my hands were tied for a little bit, but yeah. I mean, you can, but some things don't work, and it's a little bit sketchy, and you definitely don't want to get in trouble.
Right, you don't want to get caught. Yeah. Okay, and then you come back to the wherever you live, and then you got the hit the ground running. So how was that then? So technically, your second month was your first month, right? When you actually went for it,
right.
So yeah, talk us through it, bro. How did you get your first model?
Yeah, so hit the ground running. By the time I got back and I got settled, I had decided. I'd made some connections in the Discord from the course. I had absorbed all the course material. And I said, I'm going to dedicate 16, 18 hours a day, whatever I can do, however long I can stay up. I'm going to build this as fast as possible. I'm going to learn every job myself. And then I'm going to build a team after that of VAs. I made sure that I was the one handling the chatting, along with another employee I brought on later. I do 14 hours, he'd do 10 hours. And I made sure I learned how to do everything before I started hiring for those positions. And that saved a lot of money and also just boosted the skill set.
Yeah, this is textbook. For everybody watching, please pay attention. This is exactly textbook. This is exactly what we say. I mean, there is no right or wrong way to do business. It's kind of like life. There's no right or wrong way. I just think there are better and worse ways to do it, right? And the better way is exactly what Dan is saying, as tedious. And I'm sure you probably weren't like waking up and I can't wait to do chatting, right? Like nobody does that, right? However, you just need to do it. You need to do it. The analogy that I give, it's like think of it this way, guys, right? If you want to start anything, let's just say a restaurant for that matter, right? And you don't know how to cook at all, you've never made any food at all, right? And you want to start a restaurant. Sure, can you just hire chefs like that from the get-go? Of course you can, right? However, are they doing an amazing job and up to your standards or not? Who knows? You don't have any standards. You don't have to cook yourself, right? So it's a simple analogy where I think you have to get through that kind of tedious, annoying part, at first, because you pick up those skills. And then once you have that, not only then are you able to hire the best people, because then you know who's actually good or not, you can also then improve them and teach them from scratch, right? And that's priceless. So the fact that you went through that, that's
Absolutely.
incredible. Yeah. And also another thing just that I picked up there, bro, that you said is the community, right? This is something that I hear on all of these calls that I do, Dan, all of the interviews that we do. The most common thing that I get is, look, the course is great. The calls are great. The community is amazing, right? So, and again, that's priceless. The people that you can surround yourself with and network with and learn from each other, that's priceless. So that's really cool to hear from you as well. That's really good. So, okay, now just because I don't want to skim over it, because I know somebody's going to be like, okay, but how the fuck did he do it? How did you go get your first model? Was it somebody referred, within the community, or did you do some outreach yourself?
I tried to, there's in the community, there's always some models posted. My first model I actually bought from a guy through Telegram. I learned my hard lesson. It wasn't through a marketplace or anything like that. Just a guy. He sold me the model, and then right while the transfer was happening, I guess he didn't pay one of his chatters, and his chatter went on and nuked the account, mass message everybody. So it was definitely like a weird start. Never actually ended up making any money with that model. I only throw that in there because I know everyone's got a story where, if you're operating outside of our community, you just never know with people, and you have to take some risks, and every once in a while you're going to get burned, but don't let that stop you. I ended up finding some of the good marketplaces where models are being sold with warranties and trusted, and I just flat out purchased my first model's contract. I didn't want to take the time, and you can definitely do this, but I wanted to get revenue in the door right away. And my criteria for the first model, and having confidence in myself being in business, I didn't want to get someone that was fresh and start growing from nothing. This is actually foreshadowing to where our specialty is with the agency, but I found a model that had done $36,000 net months, 6-7 months ago, and then had the fall from grace, and the previous agency fumbled the bag. There's a lot of agencies. This particular agency is out of Switzerland. I don't know the name of it, but I ended up with 4 of their previous models that all used to have great revenue, and then basically, they fumbled it. Basically, the agency will manage 150, 200 models. They'll put all the work on the model. They'll have them do TikToks. The minute they're not viral on TikTok anymore, the agency drops them, or the models leave and their revenue crashes. And obviously, with those odds, they'll have another model that's viral. So we kind of specialize in rehabilitating accounts. There's obviously already a vault full of content. There's previous numbers. We know people will like this model. There's a bunch of subscribers who don't subscribe anymore that we can kind of try to resell and pull from, which always is a huge thing. But yeah, I found my first model. She used to have 4,000 paid subs. She was down to 44. She was doing just about $1,000 net. And we finished that month, me and the chatter I hired, who's now high up in the agency working with me. He's fantastic, but we would tag team the chatting. We finished that first month at 6,500 net with only 62 subscribers. So from 44 to 62, but we boosted net from about 1,000 to 6,500.
Yeah.
Purely in quality of chatting and relationships built with the subs. This is where we kind of specialize, and I do want to get more into that in terms of quality of chatting. There's a lot of agencies. You have to figure out where you can distinguish yourself.
So Dan, so right there, right? Because I just want to stop you there. So I'm sure you don't get it anymore, but when you first started, I'm sure the question of why would a model ever go 50-50 and why would she work with an agency? A lot of the times for people who are just starting out or who haven't even got started yet, it doesn't make sense, right? And I get it. I completely get it. From an outsider's point of view, it almost seems like, whoa, what's going on here? What is the point? But these stories is exactly the point. And I just don't want to glance over it because I want to really, really, focus on this point. Now, this is at a small scale. This is where you just started. The model was doing 1,000 by herself. Right. So what would you rather have 100% of 1,000 a month, which also, if she's by herself, she's then creating the content, distributing it, doing the chatting, staying up till 3 a.m. probably, right? Doing the social media, blah, blah, blah. I could keep naming these things, right? doing
Mm-hmm.
100% of 1,000, or would you rather go 50-50 with somebody who's going to take all of these things off of your hands and you just have to focus on one, which is just creating the content? And it's
Right.
even easier because you got told what to do. Like you don't have to think of the content, etc. It's a lot easier. You collaborate, right? And
Exactly.
take 50% of 6,500, you say, right? So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
$3,250. So all of a sudden, yeah, 50% of a bigger pot seems reasonable. And these numbers we're
Mm-hmm.
talking about here, I mean, I'm sure we can talk about the numbers you do now, Dan, but you know, these numbers are
Mm-hmm.
just very, very small, basic, from 1,000 to 6.5. Yeah. But you know,
Yeah.
let's actually talk about it. The numbers you deal with now is probably something like a girl comes in at 50K, you get it to 250,000 within a couple of months' time, right? Um,
Yeah.
anyway, we can jump straight into that as well. But and the main thing that you guys focus on there, by the sounds of it, is the chatting, because she only went from like 40 subs to like 60,
Yeah.
right? So again, it's super interesting because the girl or the guy who I'm just saying, the
Mm-hmm.
creator just simply doesn't have enough time in a fucking day to be replying to all fans 24/7, right? He or she has to just do
Absolutely.
other things, sleep, like study or work or whatever, right? Whereas somebody like yourself who owns an agency and that is literally your job, all of a sudden you
Mm-hmm.
guys can sit there and kind of 24/7 manage the chatting side of it. So again, for everybody that's watching that is brand new and maybe the idea on the business model maybe isn't clicking and it's not making sense, that's a prime example right there of just how and why this whole thing works. So cool. Okay, fantastic. So that's your first model, and that was the first month technically, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Oh, also, sorry, Dan. Just before we glance over it as well, one more thing.
Yeah.
Not on Telegram. As somebody sent this to me, I don't know if you've seen it. There is a.
Mm-hmm.
This is a like a public announcement. We don't have a Telegram group. We will never have a Telegram group. We just don't need to.
Mm-hmm.
So if you ever seen my name on Telegram, it is not me. And somebody sent this to me. Yeah, it's insane. There's a group of like, I don't know how many. I think there's thousands of people in there, and it's literally called
Mm-hmm.
Aura Market or something like that, and they basically
Yeah.
model contracts which are fake, and they use this is how crazy it is. They use fake AI, like deep voice of myself, and
Oh no.
it's not me. Obviously it's not me. So yeah, this is
Yeah,
just
I've reported them. I've seen them before. I've been telling everybody, don't worry about it.
yeah.
Not to buy from them. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is what we obviously say in the community. I just wanted to make like a public announcement. I
Mm-hmm.
haven't said it on YouTube ever before, and it just reminded me about it. So yeah, like I am never on Telegram. Please do not get scammed. This is not me. Okay. So anyway,
Mm-hmm.
because it's crazy.
Yeah.
And that was like your first experience. And also for a lot of people, that might deter them from actually trying to just go ahead with the business model. You know, for a lot of people, bro, that's all it takes. For a lot of people, they go, no, I tried it, something about it. Maybe it just wasn't meant to be, and they just stop. Imagine
Yeah.
if that was
Yeah.
you, bro. Imagine if you just quit there.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't carry on. So
Yeah.
congrats to you that we're
It
carrying
had
on.
the opposite effect on me. I actually got, getting scammed. It was a $400. It wasn't a lot of money,
Sure.
but getting scammed out of that first one, I was like, wow, I learned a hard lesson there. Now I'm going to, come back a little bit harder. But
Yep.
yeah, my second model, again, purchased the contract. Funny enough, my first model and second model had worked with the previous agency, just through total luck, through total chance. I do want to say in terms of 50-50, I actually get a higher percentage than 50%, and the models are happy to do it. I don't have a model that's as low as 50%. I do want to say a couple of things. I'm not recommending this. My models live in a country where the currency difference is, obviously more in our favor. If I do work with a US model or UK model or something like that, it's typically 50-50. But I, with receipts, show the model every month how much we're reinvesting back into their account, whether it's through guaranteed gains, paid promotion, Instagram collabs with big pages, stuff like that. I show them, and we're typically 2,000 to 3,000 a month at least, depending on the size of the model. There's a percentage of that revenue that we are putting back in every month, in addition to employees, our full team, everything. So the models are happy to do it because they don't have to pay for anything. We make it really easy for them. Like you said, it's turnkey, and we focus on agency dependent marketing strategies. We don't just have our models working,
Mhm.
20 hours a day
Which is what
making
most
content.
agencies,
In
yeah.
fact, that first model, I won't say exactly what she does, but when you think of like lawyer, doctor, all those things, she's got a full-time job working 50 hours a week. She's only got an hour and a half a day to give me content, and she's the highest grossing. So, everybody I work with is great. And part of that is staying professional on the agency side.
I love it. There's so many things to say there. Again, I think another thing is the fact that, yes, it's either 50 or 60%, for the agency owner, but the agency owner, it's not like they just take the cash and they run away with it. They not only employ an entire team. I mean, are you able to say how many staff members roughly you're working with at the moment?
Yeah, absolutely. I have 2 others in the US besides myself that work with us. One of them is a recent hire, just because we're getting to that point. And then I have a team of chatters. We have 6 chatters, so 2 teams of 3, and then I have a team leader that oversees them. We have like sort of an HR person that's sort of like a third party that helps us find people in the Philippines. But we've gone through a lot of staff. That first transition from me chatting 14 hours a day with one other solid person, when it came time to add more people, I think we fired the first 8 people that came through till we found someone that could replicate. So it's very important.
And again, that takes a lot of time, energy, effort to go through and find the best people. And again, right? And again, this is another thing about kind of 50 or 60%, however much the agency takes, is the fact that the percentage they have, the more they're able to reinvest back into the marketing. Therefore, the model makes more as well. So it's a win-win. But I completely agree. For first world countries, so like UK, Canada, or just first world English speaking countries, that's predominantly where you'll find the models to work with. You won't be able to kind of do 70-30 split, and nor do I recommend it. That absolutely doesn't work. But yeah, in some cases, absolutely. And it also motivates you as an agency owner to work with this model even more, if she's on 60 and the others are maybe on 30, for example, right? So anyway, that's really, really cool. So in terms of time scale, so you got your first model. How does it go from 1,000 to 6,500 the first month? Just you and this one guy. Really, really cool. Now talk us through kind of the next couple of months. How was that? The ups and downs, and then at the end we'll talk about kind of where you are right now.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I know it's going to happen one day, but we've still never had a month that was lower than the previous month. We've had steady 25 to 35% growth across all of our models every month. That's bound to, take a dip at some point, just seasonally. But so first we were able to maximize her chatting. She had a lot of big spenders on the account. We only had 60 subs at the end of that month. My next mission was to get as many new subs through the door as possible. Some paid, some guaranteed gains, kind of like free trial. So we really threw everything at it. I get a lot of the younger guys in the Discord reaching out to me. Hey, what's your secret? What's your one traffic stream that you do? What's your one method? There is no secret. There's no hack. There's no one method. 16 hours a day until you can't stay awake anymore. You're doing everything, and some things are going to work, and you're going to push harder on those, funnels. And then some things are not going to work. You're going to lose a little bit of money or time, and then you have to find something else. But there is a way. There are models making hundreds of thousands of dollars a month, and that's just our goal, is to find that way with as minimal input from the model as possible. It's on us to do it. Otherwise you'll end up, chasing models away because, it's almost not enough money. They're already doing something that is never coming off the internet. You got to make them feel good about it. Positive,
I love that. That's so important. Most people don't talk about this, right? Also for some models, like it depends, right, from model to model, but for some of them we are talking about kind of like an exit strategy, so building them kind of like an e-commerce store for them, as for their fans, etc. Because for some models they don't want to do this for the rest of their lives, right? And also another little context I wanted to give as well, because again, I don't want to kind of skim over this, because I think a lot of people that are watching this, they're either just starting out and they need this kind of information. When Dan said about try out, some things will work, some things won't, it's absolutely true, but also it's for every single model. So for a model who's like a typical cheerleader, so blonde girl, if you just think of your typical kind of model, right? Somebody like that, in comparison to, let's just choose like or actually these are like maybe more different. So you got like a MILF, for example, who's like 40 years of age or older, and then you've got a gamer girl, right, who streams on Twitch, for example. you know, different things will work differently for both of these models, right? So this is exactly what Dan is saying. You've got to try out all of these different things, because for every single model, one thing that doesn't work for one model might work for the other one, right? And then again, you just got to split test all these things. And this is exactly why, and of course, and I get this question, all these questions as well, like, what's the best this, best that, boom, 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 boom. Like, bro, if there was the best, then I'm sure we would fucking share it. You know, it didn't be super simple. Everybody could copy it.
Yeah.
Isn't how it works, because there's so many nuances, not only for every single model, but also from every single agency. Because some agencies are very good at certain things. Like, for example, some agencies, some of our students, they have massive meme pages that they own. They own massive pages on Instagram. And we're like, cool, well, fucking leverage that. Great, go for it.
Yeah.
Some people don't, and so on and so on. So anyway, so that's really, really good. Okay, cool, bro. Okay, so that's been the last couple months. Now bring us up to speed right now, bro. How's everything going? How many models you're working with, and what have been some of the biggest lessons you've learned in the last couple of months?
Yeah, so we have those first two models I told you about, the first and the second. You know you're doing a good job when, you know, they were unhappy with the previous agency, and then after a couple months, they're bringing you all of their friends that do OF. They're bringing, you know, giving you references, and it's to the point where after those first two, I haven't had to purchase or do any outreach. I'm just getting organic, you know, models referred to me through my happy clients. So we've got, again, I won't talk personal, but let's just say some of the people have been related that have been referred to me. So we've got sort of like an A team and a B team. We have an A team with established models that we rehabilitated the accounts. We're getting them all up to 5 figures, and that's kind of our big where we count on for the revenue. Now we're developing right now a sort of a B team and a C team. B team will be female models that maybe we're growing from almost zero or zero. We're going to be focusing on some different things, building out a different chat team. And then I want to build a male creator team as well. Don't want to give specifics. Friend of mine is doing really well. He's an agency owner, decided to throw himself on OnlyFans, and it's going crazy. Very interesting story. And then one of the referred clients is a male as well, and he's taking off like crazy. So didn't think we'd branch into that, but we found ourselves doing it organically, and that's where we're going.
Okay. Very interesting. Yeah. So for us personally, we've just focused on, like, I get what you're saying with different teams and different sectors, right? And again, for everybody who's like, to me and you, this makes sense, but for everybody that's watching who's just starting out, there's also a massive difference between helping a model go from even zero, because even 0 and 1K is completely different. So helping a model go from zero, so aka literally just starting out completely fresh, and helping her go from 0 to, like I said, 1K, there's a big difference. There's also a huge difference between helping a model go from 1K to, I'd say, to 10K is about the same-ish. I think the 1 to 3 is a little bit different, but so on. And then helping a model scale past kind of 30,000 a month, that's also quite a difference. And then after 100K, then there's a bit of a difference. So you've got different kind of sectors, you've got different categories of models. The piece of advice that I would give, and maybe Dan, you didn't experience this, but I wouldn't necessarily recommend anybody working with clients who are just starting out from scratch for a few reasons. The only caveat I would give, like the only time that I would say, cool, yeah, you know, you can try it, is if the model is a fairly large influencer. So if he or she already has a big audience, and you know, as soon as they launch an OF, they're going to go crazy, and it's going to kickstart it. It's going to be super easy. Then yes, do it. However, alternatively, which is in most cases that isn't the case, I don't recommend it. Mainly because again, we said this right at the beginning of the call, right? OF is something that if you're going to do it, you really need to do it. You need to go all in. You can't be like, oh, try it out. There is no trying. Once you create an account as a creator, this is, right? Like, that's it. You have an OnlyFans account, right? So when a creator is just starting out on OF, there's so many things going through his or her head, right? And you definitely do not want to be the one to be answering loads of questions and trying to get them to do something that maybe they don't know even 100% on, right? So I just think for the safer bet, do not worry about these, guys and girls. Just let them do their thing. If they want to pursue it, and after a year or so, then join with your agency, then it's fantastic. So it's interesting you're talking about kind of different A, B, and C groups, and that's kind of your future plan, I'm assuming, then, right? So to start scaling out team and C team.
I will clarify too, the only ones we've started from zero are ones that have been referred to us through our current big models that can do, in-person collabs and maybe grow off of theirs. But I totally agree with you. Even those referrals, we have people, you know, what we like to do with newer people, even if the account's only like, you know, 2 or 3K, we like to put the ball in their court. We offer some services, but we're not going to be, you know, spending 4 or 5K to grow their account in the first month if they're just flirting with the idea of continuing OnlyFans or starting OnlyFans. So we definitely do more model dependent traffic methods. We maybe, me and my team leader take over the chatting. We don't hire a whole brand new staff for 24/7 chatting. So we'll sort of test the models and make sure. Yeah, but sometimes you're absolutely right. They do say, hey, you know, I've had to change a heart. The internet's forever. I kind of don't want to do this. So yeah, my future is I want to focus on growing the A team past 50K. I want everyone individually past 50K by this summer. So I would prefer to be, you know, focused more on less models than going with a ton of models. I know everyone has a different philosophy. I've met some guys in the course that, you know, make 200K a month with 2 models, and I've met some guys in the course that make 50K with, you know, 25 models.
Yeah.
For me, less is more.
I think everybody eventually comes to that realization, by the way. Again,
Yeah.
there's no right or wrong, but from everybody that I've spoken to that's doing above kind of 250,000, 300K a month, all of them have only got kind of 4 to 6 models max. And it's smooth sailing, right? And again, there's no right or wrong, but this is the beautiful thing. And this is why I love doing this business model, is because there are so many different ways of doing it. And it's forever changing because it's still so fresh and new. And it's, I wouldn't say heavily, but it's massively dependent on social media. And social media is always fucking changing, right? And the rules are always adapting. So yeah, that's what I love it. I love about it. But cool, Dan, thank you so fucking much, bro. I'm going to leave all your links down below. What should I leave down below? Let me know where people can find you and what, there'll probably be some models watching this as well. So for any models that are watching this, where could they find you and why should they potentially work with you?
Yeah, absolutely. I've given you my Instagram. It's at dreamy.ofm. We keep our Instagram private. We don't want to be one of those agencies that's always just hassling and cold DMing models. If you are a model out there and you want to work with an agency that's going to give you the personal touch, you're going to work with a lot of people that are based in the US. You're going to have someone that's actually going to invest. You want somebody with referrals and a track record. Contact us on Instagram, send us a DM. Really, we're only looking to take on people who are in that stage where they're past the first couple thousand and, you know, or they were previously doing big numbers and they want to go back to that. That's kind of what we've specialized in since we started.
Amazing. Cool. I'm sure there'll be at least a good couple of models that will be watching this over, you know, however long we have this up for. That will be thinking, okay, this is sounding exactly what I need. You know, I was doing good and then this agency fucked me over. Now my income has dipped and I feel like Dan is the person I need to speak to. So cool. I'll leave all the links down below. So go ahead and drop him a message on Instagram. And once again, Dan, thank you so much. And congratulations on all your success. You're absolutely smashing it. Cool.
No problem. Thank you.